Welcome to Bentley's Bushcraft.
Bushcrapping.
Bushcrapping, yeah. So this is Bentley's.
Bushcrapping.
Yeah, we got bushcrapping. Say Bentley's.
Bentley's.
Backwoods. All right, yay! This is bushcrapping here. He's got his stick. Show him your stick. He had to bring his stick out. So anyway, I got tagged by Third Center Outdoors, and it's a 6-question tag. Ask six questions, and I answer them, and then I'm supposed to tag. Yeah, I'm gonna tag 3 other people. Now, I'm gonna.
I want my Papa talk.
You're gonna let Papa talk?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. First of all, yeah, let's move your stick a little bit. There you go. You can still hold it. Just keep it out of the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and mention the 3 that I'm gonna tag first, and then I'll get into the questions.
Yeah.
The first person I'm going to tag is Joe Playing Outdoors. Yes, he has just recently subscribed me. According to my subscription list, he subscribed me 3 days ago. So I'm going to tag him to answer these 6 questions as well. The second couple that I'm going to tag is Phoenixterdam, Mike and Hoos. They've subbed me 4 days ago, and they're transfers from my wife's channel. They came over from my wife's channel and subbed me. So I kind of want to hear their answers to these questions. They're not really they're not like a Backwoods bushcrafting outdoors channel. They do a whole lot of stuff. But I just kind of like to hear their answers to this. And thirdly, I was asked by OIF-Vet, who also has Lambert Acres, if I would help him out getting some new subs. I looked on my subscription list and I couldn't find him on my subscription list, so I don't know if he subscribed to me or not. But regardless, I try to help him out, and if you guys can go check those 3 channels out and give them subs. Oh, that's my fire pit. You need to leave that alone. That's icky. But I know that I just did a shout out to Joe Playing Outdoors, but I'm going to tag him in this one as well. But also Phoenixterdam and OIF-Vet, and also Lambert Acres. Well, let me do this video, and then we'll go do something. We'll do some outdoorsy stuff, just the 2 of us, okay? Okay. So let's get into the questions. Number 1. Oh, and by the way, these questions I'm just gonna just kind of paraphrase how they were placed. I'll list them down below in the description, but I'm not going to read them verbatim. But it's going to be the same thing. What do I think of the term prepper and survivalist, and do I use them? Do I use them? Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, let Papa do the video, okay? As a matter of fact, I have considered myself a prepper and a survivalist long before I considered myself a bushcrafter or outdoors person or anything like that. And as a matter of fact, I've considered myself a survivalist / prepper long before those words even existed, for me anyway. As far as what do I think of the terms, I think they're fantastic. Do I believe that they have some kind of negative do I believe that people have kind of a negative way of thinking about them? Absolutely, I do believe that. And that's why my channel is Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, and not Bentley's Survivalist or Bentley's Prepper or whatever, because I thought about doing that, but I know that people who hear the term prepper and survivalist automatically think of some crazy guy, you know, that's dug a hole in the ground somewhere and, you know, it's got 30 years of stuff waiting, you know, with guns and everything, waiting for the government to take over. Although I believe that'll happen. I just didn't want that kind of thing. So anyway, yes, I do use them. In all honesty, I consider myself more of a prepper slash survivalist than I do backwoodsman or an outdoorsman or anything like that. Although I find those three terms to basically really, in my view, mean the same thing, really. I know people have their things about terms and what this means and that, but to me it's all really the same thing. Number two, when did I know that I was a prepper slash survivalist? Unlike my other video that I did, when did I realize that bushcrafting and all that was what I was doing, or where I was going with things. Hold on, buddy, let me do this video and then we'll do some stuff. I can't really state a time or a date, but I would say forever. My favorite film or TV series. My favorite TV series, I could list a lot of stuff. You want me to hold your stick? Thank you. I could list a lot of them for this, but I've decided on my favorite TV series, Firefly. I love it, and I was sad to see that it didn't last very long. Serenity is a fantastic movie. I'm going to clump that in with Firefly, though. I'm not going to use that as my favorite movie. My favorite film, I am going to say it's something from the 80s called Hawk the Slayer. I don't know if anybody's ever seen it. It's a really low-budget movie from the 80s. There's a big whole story behind all that. Let's just say that in my youth, I was much more into fantasy type stuff. The wizardry, fighter, magic user. I played Dungeons and Dragons. So I was a huge first edition and second edition D&D-er.
I had this one.
That one's not good, buddy. Nope, this mulberry's not good. Okay? He brought me this little mulberry off the tree. This one's not good. You gotta get the black one. I'm not eating that. No, I don't think so. He tried to shove it in my mouth. I'm not eating that. That's icky. So anyway, yeah, I was a huge fan of Dungeons and Dragons in high school and even after high school and into my 20s. Yeah, surprise. But yeah, I would say my favorite movie, I would have to say, is Hawk the Slayer. If anybody ever gets a chance to watch that. Bug in or bug out? Yes, there's more of them. There's not really any good ones on there. Papa's got all the good ones. Those aren't right. Bug in or bug out? I'm going to say both. And I could do an entire video on this. I will, if necessary. Yeah, that one's icky too. I will bug in for as long as I can, if I can.
Take it.
Okay, thank you. But I will say that bugging out in a long-term survival situation, in my belief, is the only way that people are going to survive. I am a big proponent that the government is just one day just going to decide they're going to stop pretending that we have rights and are just going to come out and say, screw you guys, you know, we control everything, and that's just how it is. It's always been that way, and we're tired of pretending. People like myself are either going to be gathered up in concentration camps or just plain killed. I completely believe that, right or wrong, that's how I believe. I don't think that they're going to worry about trying to gather us up. I think they're just going to, that'll be the end of it. So will I survive something like that? I'll probably be killed. But if I do survive, I'm bugging out. I will stay in place as long as I can for temporary stuff, natural disasters. If I can stay bugged in, I will. But long-term existence, bugging in is not the way to do it. There's going to be too many marauders out there. There's going to be too many people coming by and taking what you have. You're not going to be able to stop everybody. I don't care how many bullets you have. Eventually you're going to run out of bullets. So bugging out is, in my opinion, the only true way to exist long term. You're going to have to constantly be moving. So we'll stop at that, because I could do an entire video on that as well. Like I said, survivalist slash prepper is more my thing, and I've tried to avoid involving my channel in that. Yes, this one is icky too, because it's not right. So we'll move on to number 5. If I could learn one skill matrix style, what would it be? Well, I try not to pat myself on the back, because in truth I'll tell anybody I suck. When it comes to martial arts, I've always told everybody that I wasn't any good. I've never tried to boast about my abilities, even though in truth I'm pretty confident. Even now, I haven't trained religiously. I haven't trained in years, and I haven't really trained at all in the last year or so. I'm overweight. I'm out of shape as far as that goes. But in truth, I've been training since I was 12, and I'm 49 right now, and it's only been a year or so since I've stopped training. And I still, to be completely honest, I'm still confident that against an average person or group of people, I can still handle myself quite well with at least 3 or 4 people, as long as they don't have guns or knives. I could still completely hand-to-hand completely handle myself against 3 or 4 people half my age. I believe that, whether it's true or not. Well, I know whether it's true, but let's say theoretically I could do that. So I would say martial arts, but in all honesty, without trying to sound egotistical and an ass, I think I'm pretty good as far as a fighter goes. I'm not talking about a dojo martial artist with kata and tappy tag you're it stuff. I'm talking about on the street. It's me, it's you, end of story. I walk away, you either go to the hospital or maybe the morgue. I still feel that I'm pretty confident in my ability, even though I'm out of shape and rusty. So I'm not going to use martial arts. Matrix style, I don't know. Just general knowledge, I guess. That one's kind of rough. I really don't know what to pick as far as what skill. It says one skill. So everybody, always tends to use, the outdoors type stuff. So I really don't have an answer for that one, at least not a real legitimate one, because I've been thinking about it, and to be totally honest, and like I said, it kind of sounds egotistical and sounds like I'm being a prick, but I think I'm pretty darn good with my ability to fight. And other than that, just general knowledge of survival, I guess I'll say that. General knowledge of survival. That one's cool. I guess one thing I could say is the ability to be 50 years old and raise a 6-month-old and a 3-year-old. There you go. That's what I'm going to say. My matrix style, what I want is that knowledge straight into my brain about how to go back to that age, raising kids, being 49, 50 years old, being able to stay up at night when they need to get up, when they get up in the middle of the night, or just to deal with a 3-year-old's energy. I don't have that anymore. That's rough. So there's an answer. Yeah, being able to adapt and deal with raising a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old at 50. There's my answer. Number 6, and this one's paraphrased because this was a long one. Basically, the nation is in discord. There's an army formed. They're just marauding across the land. Yes, they're marauding across the land. What 5 items? Oh, and you're told you need to leave. What 5 items would you take? I'll be right back. Alrighty, what 5 items? Again, I've thought about this all night. And I don't have a real good answer for you on this one, but I'll give you the answer that I have. My vehicle, number 1, and the reason I picked my vehicle is because I have a considerable stash in that vehicle at all times. So when I take the vehicle, I take everything with me in the vehicle, and I don't know if that's considered cheating, but the one item of the 5 would be my vehicle. Just so happens that vehicle is a stash. So I'm going to say my vehicle. And as far as survival items, honestly, that's the only thing I'm going to say. Because, yeah, be careful. Because everything I have or need will be in that vehicle. I could also say, okay, if I don't have access to the vehicle, I would take my bicycle, and I'm talking about pedaling bicycle. And there again, that's an item by itself, but attached to that is a travois that's stashed. So I say my prepper survivalist in me, I got a travois that's stashed with gear, and that will attach to my bicycle. Therefore, when I take my bike, I take a stash. So those are 2. So if any way I don't get the bike and I don't get the van, and I have to walk, I have to hoof it, that's fine too, because I have caches from Fort Wayne, Indiana, down past Indianapolis. So I can go north or south, east and west as well, not quite as much, but I can go north and south. And if I can't go north and I can't go south, I'm not going to be able to go east and west either, so that ain't going to really matter. But I can go from the top of Indiana to the mid, a little below mid, but we'll say the mid part of Indiana. And I've got a few stashes that I can dig up that will supply me with everything I need. Well, don't stomp on the ants. They don't like being stomped on. So I'm gonna say my bicycle and or my van. And if I have to throw my bicycle on top of my van or the travois on top of the van, I'd do that too. Either way, I've got plenty of stash. 3rd item, I'm going to say I have an external hard drive. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be good for me. I may not be able to use it because of electricity or, you know, who knows. But it's not for me. That external hard drive, if it would ever be able to be used again, isn't for me, it's for everybody else. It has information on it that's beneficial to everybody as well as personal. So I'd say that, and not just for me, but I think for mankind in general, if it was accessible. And you know, I can't say that I believe that everything will go down. So I think at some point, somewhere, it would be accessible if someone knew how to use it. Number 4, my genealogy, which is also on the hard drive, but I would have a hard copy booklet of my genealogy along with my family photographs. And you found a good one, didn't you? Yeah, it is good. Those mulberries are good. So my genealogy would absolutely be something that if I had available to grab and go, which I kind of do, not quite as accessible as my my prepper gear, but there again, I stashed my genealogy on disc in five different places, as well as maintaining a hard copy of my genealogy in my house, in my prepper stash, and at my local library here, and at a local library in Fort Wayne. By the way, Fort Wayne has the largest publicly owned genealogical library in the United States. No, that one's not good. No, I don't like that one. It's not good. Of course, Salt Lake City has the largest one, but it's privately owned. The largest publicly owned library is Fort Wayne.
My daddy
I don't know. I don't know. So that would be number 4. So we have my vehicle, which is already prepped. My bicycle, which is already prepped. My hard drive, and like I said, not so much for myself, but for everybody else. And my genealogy, absolutely have to keep track of that. And my 5th item, and I'm gonna avoid using family members and my wife and all that stuff. So my 5th item would be, what would it be? I would have to say everything is pretty much covered in those 4. Okay, look it up. If I had to grab a 5th item and I had the opportunity, I really don't know what it would be, because I have everything covered in my vehicle, my bicycle, and my caches. I'm going to say those 4 would do me well. I grab a bag of chips on the way out the door. I don't know. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the little bit of humor I threw in here. Honestly, I don't take anything really seriously, at least not that seriously. I try to find humor in everything. Remember Joe Playing Outdoors? You've been tagged. Phoenix Stradom, Mike and Hoos, you've been tagged. And OIF-Vet / Lambert Acres, you've been tagged as well. I hope this helps you out with your channel. Enjoy. I hope this answers your guys' questions. Hold on a second. Well, that's a big stick, buddy. Yep, you got another one. You're picking all these not good ones. I hope that answers everybody's questions. This is a super long video. Apologize for that. I hope it works well for everybody. So anyway, I consider myself a prepper / survivalist much more than I do bushcrafter, but I've tried to avoid that kind of stuff on this channel, especially recently. So maybe if it's wanted, I'll try to do a little bit more. You guys enjoy the outdoors, and I got to go take care of my grandson. He really wants to go goof around, so enjoy the outdoors.